Hello and welcome to the next lesson on chess. In this video, we shall be learning the various tactics or tricks to checkmate our opponent in two moves. Now this will involve a series of exercises or positions where you have to solve on your own and then tally your solutions with what I suggest in the video. So during the entire course of the video, after every position, pause the video, solve them on your own, and then match the solution with my suggestions in the video. And after every position, you shall be learning the various tricks of how to think while playing chess. Now this is a very important lesson. That's why I would suggest that all of you should repeat the video as many times as possible till everything in the video is clear to you. So let's begin our journey with the first position. It is white to play and checkmate black in two moves. Now it's evident that white has a pawn on h7 square, very close to promoting square of promotion. But if we play h8 at once, if we promote at once, and suppose we take a queen, black will easily capture this queen. So black's queen is basically monitoring our pawn. It is white to play and checkmate in two moves. Okay, the right move is, or the right way of thinking in this position is, we want to take our queen to this square, the g8 square, to checkmate the king. How can we take our queen to g8 immediately? Well, by playing queen a8 check, forcing the king to come up, and then moving to g8 with the help of this pawn, it's check and checkmate. So these type of ideas, where first we decide the target where to move and then we decide how to achieve the target. This is called targeting in chess. You target something and then you work out how to reach that target. Okay, here thankfully we have a check. So black doesn't have time to capture this pawn. He has to play this and then we deliver checkmate. Now the next position, again white to play and checkmate black in two moves. The solution is, first we play check. With the help of the pawn, the queen comes close to the king. The king moves to the edge of the board and then we play queen a5 check and checkmate. So what do we achieve here? We first see that this king, if it is cornered or if it goes to the edge of the board, we can deliver a checkmate. But if we give a check directly, the king will escape from c6. And suppose again we play check, the king will keep on escaping. It will run away. So what we do, we chase the king to the edge. So this is called chasing. Okay, the king is brought to the corner, it is chased to the corner, and finally it's checkmated. Now we have seen targeting, chasing. In reality, when you play chess, you may not get exactly this position. But if you can think in such manner that how to chase the king, how to checkmate him, then you can apply this concept in variety of situations. Now, the third position is very interesting. Here, material is equal. Black has rook, knight and 4 pawns. White has rook, bishop and 4 pawns. But black is threatening to promote this pawn and he may get a queen instead of this pawn. So black is on the verge of winning. If he has a queen, he will have big advantage and probably he will win the game. But then it's white to move. Can you find a way for white to checkmate black? Look at the position carefully. There's a bishop which is checking the king, but the diagonal is blocked by my own rook. So how do I move the rook to cause damage to black? If I play this and check the king will escape. And if I even capture the rook, he will promote this pawn to a queen, and it's black who is having the advantage. So I can't play this move. Can I play double check? Check with the rook, check with the bishop. But no, the king will capture the rook, it will escape. Can I play this move, double check? No, the king will capture the rook and escape. So what do I do? The best move here is to advance the pawn, check. The king has nowhere to go except capture this pawn. So this is the only move available for black. And now we play rook d7 check. This is a double check. Check with the rook, check with the bishop. The king is checkmated in the center of the board. So here what we do, we lure the king, or we decoy, we force the king to come to an inferior square. You may argue the king is actually centralized. But for this situation, since we were unable to checkmate, from here we can checkmate. So we have brought the king to such a square where it is vulnerable to getting mated. So this is a very nice idea by white to lure the king and checkmate. So this is called luring or decoying. Okay, the next position, another very interesting situation. It is black to play and checkmate in 2 moves. Now the white king will be checkmated in 2 moves. By looking at the position, we can find out the king doesn't have any square to escape because all these squares are covered by black's pieces, and some of the squares, the f4 pawn and d3 pawn and even the rook on e3, these 3 squares are blocked by white's own pieces. So the king is almost trapped, but how do we check and how do we mate? Well, black can checkmate by first playing d5 check. King has nowhere to go, but we have learned the rule of opasa, which means white can actually capture this pawn. Right, that's what opasa is all about. But then black plays rook e8 check, and it's checkmate. Now what black has done is, effectively he has opened the e file so that the rook can check. So these type of moves are called line opening moves. Black is opening the e file by sacrificing his pawn, by giving up his pawn, and now the e file is open for the rook. Okay, these are all tricks or tactics, how one side uses various concepts or various themes to win. This is another very interesting situation where black's king is almost trapped. It can't go back because of the rook. But white doesn't seem to have a single move by which he can checkmate black. If he gives check, the king will have this square to move. Till the pawn is on d3, both these squares are, even these two, all the 4 squares are controlled by the pawns. But the moment I advance, this king will enter. So I can't advance the pawn. If I check with my knight, the king will retreat since this rank is blocked. If I play this check, the knight is here, he will capture my knight. So how to checkmate him? Well, the right way is playing rook e6 check. Fantastic move, because it seems black will simply capture the rook for nothing. But now we have this move. So we have diverted the knight from capturing on f7 by making it move to e6. And apart from diverting, what we have done is we have blocked the escape route of king. His own knight is blocking the escape of the king. Now a single knight check and a lone knight is checkmating the king. Fantastic. This is called blocking. Okay, so these are the various tactics or tricks by which we can win. Now this is another, it's a very simple scenario. White has to win from here in 2 moves. The best move for white is to prepare a checkmate. He will put his bishop here, and now his idea is to go rook h8, checkmate. And black has no way to defend against rook f8. So this is called preparing. White prepares a checkmate and black has nothing to do. Well, all these tricks will not be applicable in every situations. Okay, different situations will call for different type of tricks. Okay, so in this particular situation, blocking doesn't apply, but preparing applies. Okay, and now let's go to this position. It's a very nice position, very interesting situation. You are white and you have to checkmate your opponent in 2 moves. What would you play? The right move is waiting. Now white simply waits. Sometimes in chess and in life, it's wise to simply wait. Okay, not do anything. So here what happens is, by waiting, black is left without any good move. In fact, whatever black plays will make him worse. For example, if white plays rook a1. Now, if black moves the rook, knight d6 is, say the rook moves anywhere, white will simply move the knight and there is no rook for black to defend against checkmate. Now, if this knight moves, white will once again play this check. The rook cannot capture because the rook is pinned, tied down, and it's a checkmate. So why didn't we play this right away? Because the knight here would have captured our knight. So what we do, we wait for the knight to go to a square, some other square, leaving this square open for us. Okay, so this is waiting. So you see, there are various motives or various tactics or tricks by which we can handle our opponents. So this is actually a very, very important lesson for all of you. In this position, white wins by a typical method which we have seen earlier, that's called a staircase method. Here white gives check. The king can't go to this file because of this rook. The king has to go this side only, and the other rook now delivers a check. So it's like climbing a staircase. This rook goes here, the other rook partners with the rook. The king can't go this side, the king can't go this side, the king can't remain in the same file. It's checkmate. And finally, we have this another position. It's not so difficult if you can solve it. White to play and checkmate black in 2 moves. White plays, well, it seems the king is almost, it's very vulnerable. Both white's queen and rook are attacking, but on the neighboring files. So how does white convert this to a victory? White would play, the first move is rook h8 check, dragging the king to this square so that white can play queen f8 checkmate. He couldn't have played queen f8 at once because the black king would have captured it. So what white does is, first he pulls the king to an inferior square and then he moves his queen to f8, checkmating black. So these were some of the themes how you can use in your practical games to checkmate your opponents. We have seen mate in 2, but these themes can be applied in more complex situations also, which we shall be studying later. But I hope you will be using this in your practical games and winning a lot of games. Thanks for watching.